Why young men are staying inside and not socializing at all, including myself. And I want to talk about my own experiences with this. If you want to share your insight with this as well, then I encourage you to drop a comment down below at any point and share why you aren't going out and socializing with people. So if this is the first video that you're seeing of me, welcome to my channel. This is a new channel that I'm building right here. And the whole purpose of this channel is all about navigating the modern world as a young guy in the US right now. So if you are a young guy, you're trying to get ahead, you're trying to live comfortably on your own, but you feel like no matter what you do, you can't seem to get ahead and everything is out of control with inflation and with all the division that we have, then feel free to subscribe, check out some of the other videos that I have here, and I think that you'll get a lot of value out of the videos that I post. So I post a lot about corporate America. I post about making money online. If you want to learn what I do to make an income online, then I have a training below that goes more in depth about what I do, completely up to you. But otherwise, let's talk about the topic of this video, which is why young men in mass are not going out and socializing with people. And so I've heard a lot of women complain about this, that it's very hard to meet guys, they're not approaching as much, and more of them just seem to be staying inside. So there's a lot of different factors that go into this. I would say the main one, above all else, is cost of living. So with the work culture that we're stuck in right now, the constant hustle culture, everyone is just working endlessly. The average young guy that I know right now that's in their 20s, that is just entering the workforce, and they're trying to, create a stable living environment for themselves. They're working 40 hours a week at a job that they hate. And then on top of that, they are likely working an extra, 10 or 20 hours a week doing something like Uber or DoorDash. And so even with all of that in itself, that is barely enough to live on your own. And so it's a lot harder than ever to get your own place, because every apartment, the cost of it's going way up. It's like, $1,500 to $2,000 a month now for like a very basic apartment for one person. And then on top of that, you got to verify that you make like 3 times the rent, basically. Then you got to have a high credit score, and then you also got to furnish the place. So there's all these obstacles, all these, burdens that you got to, jump across just to live somewhat comfortably on your own while working endlessly. And so because of that, the average young guy right now has very little time to actually go out and meet people. And so even in my own family, like I come from a very, very big family, pretty much everyone in my family, they're all working endlessly. And so after a lot of us, in our 20s moved out and we're all living on our own, many of us, moved far away from each other, we tend to see each other a lot less often during like holidays and stuff. So that is one kind of sad thing that I've experienced, and it's definitely affected me. But that is one reason why I've, been focusing on like ways of making money online for the past few years. So that being said, the other reason that I want to get into is going to be regarding the amount of division that we have, and that's especially going to be between like men and women, right? So I believe that the elites at the top are have strategically planned out the division that we currently have between, most young men and women, right? So most young men lean towards the right, whereas most young women lean towards the left. And so I believe that I think both sides are corrupt, both the left and right. And a lot of it is just designed to it's mainly for show, right? You have one person on the right targeting men, you have another person on the left mainly targeting women. And so as a result, and plus everything else going on, men and women are not really communicating as much. And so there's also the risks of you can get accused of anything at any point. So that's one thing that's made men a lot more skeptical as far as going out and meeting women especially. But then also a lot more women have become more entitled. They're become, their standards have become a lot higher. A lot of that has to do with dating apps and social media. They post a simple picture, a selfie, and they get tons of validation from men, or they post half-naked pictures on Instagram and their entire inbox is flooded. you go on a dating app and the average woman, even like below average looking woman, which I don't say to be mean, but someone who's like super overweight and, you know, has like an attitude, that woman's gonna get tons of DMs from men trying to meet up, whereas the average young guy, even if he's slightly above average looking, isn't going to get barely any matches at all. And so that is one thing that I've noticed amongst several young men that I have talked about regarding this topic right here, is that they aren't really getting that much matches on dating apps. So that being said, with the high standards that women have, plus the high cost of living, plus the amount of division that we have, has made it a lot harder for men to actually go out and meet with people. And so even just leaving your house and you know, just going out and about, it seems like that in itself is already super expensive, because you either have to have your own car or you got to take an Uber somewhere, and then you're gonna, you know, like when you go to like your local beach or your local city to try and meet with people, most people, they have their earbuds in, and that's because they're stuck in the hustle culture as well. They're just trying to get to work, and because the average person is stressed out and more people are becoming more angry and more irritable easily because of the amount of stress that average Americans are facing, then that just leads, you know, most young men to just kind of stay inside and just, you know, live at home basically. So that is what I have observed personally, and this is also what I've pretty much, you know, spent most of my free time indoors and outside of work throughout, you know, the past 10 years. I have mainly focused on growing my online business, making money online, and, you know, doing things like posting content. And that is a very productive thing for me to do, because I'm not just, you know, wasting time. So I would recommend, if you are in that phase, maybe consider doing something online where you can earn an income. That's what I would, of course, recommend. Otherwise, maybe you decide to put yourself out there and you want to, you know, you really want to meet someone in person, then I, of course, respect that as well. So most important thing is you definitely want to be focusing on making as much money as possible, you know, to hopefully combat cost of living. And I would say the benefit of making an income online is that you have location freedom. So maybe it's super expensive where you live, but if you're earning income online, then you could live wherever you want. So whether that's in a smaller city or a state where cost of living is lower, or maybe you just want to maybe even travel overseas and experience life in another country, then that's another option that you have. And maybe, you know, people are more friendly in another area where you might go, where you currently live, maybe it's a lot harder to date and meet people. So that is my recommendation that I want to share. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. My phone's in low battery, it's going to die, so I got to finish this off pretty quick. But if you want to see how I earn an income online, check out the free training. Give us a thumbs up if you found this insightful, and take care. See you in the next one.